Alright everybody, we are back with game 2. In the first game we didn't see much. We saw Dave get a turn 2, Typhlosion, Reshiram, Blue Flare, and knock out Chan's poor little Tepig. So now we're starting game 2. You know, hopefully this will be a little bit better. And once again we got Chan starting with that Tepig. He really trained it well, but I'll be going first this game. So hopefully a little better, and there you go, there's a collector. So fortunes have changed for Chan, thankfully, and maybe we'll see a real game this time. So first of all, he's going straight for Cleffa, so that means his hand might not be that great. Usually when that's the first card somebody grabs, their hand isn't too good. So we're going to see Cleffa, Magnemite, and another Magnemite. So as you can see, this is an Emboar Magnezone deck, like the one David Cohen used to win Worlds. It's a very strong deck when it sets up. People think that Catcher kind of killed it, just because you can kind of rush it with all these quick decks and take out the basics before the deck sets up. But Chan's proving here that the deck is still very strong, especially when it sets up. I mean, Magnezone is tough to deal with, and if you run cards like Twins to just take into account the fact that you will fall behind, you know, it lessens the impact of Catcher. And you also get to use Catcher yourself, so we'll have to see how exactly Chan plays this deck now. You know, it has to change a little bit with the addition of Catcher, and we'll have to see if he can set up, survive Dave's early onslaught, because looks like Dave's got a collector as well, and usually the Typhlosion Reshiram deck is a little bit faster. That's just how these decks go. The Emboar Magnezone deck is quite slow. It's very rare that you see a quick start out of that deck, just because even though you can get like a turn 2 Emboar or a turn 2 Magnezone, you still need to have all those energy in your hand to get going. You need to attach all those energy to your Pokemon. Whereas with Typhlosion, you just get them right out of the discard pile, and you can just take advantage right away. So we're going to see an Eek from Dave as well, and it looks like both players stay asleep. Unfortunately for Chan, he's asleep at the start of his turn, so he won't be able to Eek this turn. He won't be able to retreat if he wanted to. So, bummer there, but looks like he does have a Pignite. Gets another Tepig and a Reshiram, so he has something to work with at least, I would hope. Puts a Lightning on the Magnemite, and he's going to pass actually, so maybe not a great hand. So both Cleffas wake up. So you can see both players are running different versions of Cleffa. Chan running the stink face version of Cleffa, where he's sticking his tongue out at you and giving you the evil eye. Whereas Dave's running the nice happy one. So we'll see which Cleffa comes out on top here and see which one's better once and for all. So Dave gets a Quilava, plays a Catcher for Pignite just to buy some time, and then uses Eek. So, you know, last game only took 2 turns. We had Dave get a blazing fast start. This one's taking a little bit longer, so we're going to see Chan put a fire on his Pignite and use Flame Charge for a fire. So a lot different this time around. I mean, a lot slower. So Chan still doesn't have anything. You know, maybe he has a Twins in his hand or something like that, but this is looking ugly once again for him. He's going to be falling behind. We see a Typhlosion, rare candy Typhlosion out of Dave, so he just explodes. If he's got another fire, he can Blue Flare this turn for a knockout. Ugh, this is terrible for Chan. What's he going to do? We got a Ninetales Roast Reveal. So, you know, I don't know where Dave just got everything he needed. So, I don't know. You know, unless he didn't... He might not have a fire. That would be bad. He did Roast Reveal, but looks like he didn't have a fire in his hand after that Roast Reveal, so he could have taken that knockout on a Pignite. But instead he decided to gamble a little bit, Roast Reveal to draw 3, and didn't get another fire. So looks like Chan's Pignite is going to be safe for now, which is probably a bit of a relief for him. So now we see, oh, he draws a switch, which means that Pignite's gonna live. Dave's gonna need another catcher to knock that thing out, and we see an Eek. So Chan's gonna get a whole new hand of 6, and he's still got that Pignite in play. So, you know, a really big missed opportunity for Dave there. I really think he would have taken a stranglehold on the game if he had knocked out that Pignite. But, you know, he decided to take a risk with the roast reveal, and it didn't pay off. Sometimes it happens. And now we're going to have to see him, you know, waste another catcher on Pignite. If he doesn't have a catcher, that Pignite's going to live. But we'll have to see what he does. And looks like Dave pushed his prizes off to the side, unfortunately. So I'll keep track of how many prizes he's taken, just to let you guys know. I wasn't on top of things. I didn't move the camera, but that's alright. We can keep track of it. So right now, neither player has taken a prize, and we'll see what Dave does next. You know, he's got the option to Afterburner. He's got the option to knock out Cleffa if he wants to. I'm sure in an ideal situation he would want to catcher that Pignite, but it looks like he missed the opportunity. Doesn't have a catcher in hand, and he just outrages the Cleffa for 30, and we have Dave taking his first prize. So right now, 5 prizes for Dave, 6 for Chan, and I'm sure Chan does not mind this situation at all. He got his Emboar. One of the things that makes this matchup very hard for Typhlosion is the fact that Afterburner puts damage on your own Pokemon. So you see, there's that 10 damage on the Reshiram now, which makes it easy for Chan to just attach his energy and Blue Flare for 120 and a knockout. And there's no real way for Typhlosion to prevent that. You're not going to sit there and attach manually to a Reshiram 3 times and Blue Flare that way. You just don't have the time to do that. So all of his Reshirams are going to be knocked out in one hit. So basically he has to hope that Chan runs out of steam, but it looks like he got a pretty good hand off the Eek. He got Emboar, Magnezone, Communication for Magnezone, and now a Twins. So you can bet we're going to see a rare candy Magnezone this turn, and Chan's just going to start rolling through his deck. He's going to have access to pretty much everything from this point on. Will he be able to Blue Flare this turn? That's going to be a big question. You know, even though he gets his Twins and a Magnezone, there's still a chance that he doesn't have all the fire he needs. But there's a fire, there's another fire. So I'm going to say good odds that he has enough. So he's going to rare candy into Magnezone. So he's going to get a magnetic draw for 5, it looks like. Yep, 5. And if he gets a fire or a lightning here, it's an easy knockout. And Dave is going to be in trouble. No, this is not a spot you want to be in. So there's the fire. You know, you're tied in prizes versus a fully set up Magnezone deck. It's not a good spot to be in for any deck, you know. Looks like Chan just discarded his Reshiram for some reason. Why did he do that? Chan, Earth Chan, put your Reshiram back. He was so scared of Cleffa that he knocked it out. Anyway, we got a collector here for, looks like a Reshiram, Cyndaquil, and another fire Pokemon. I'm going to assume that's a Vulpix because you can't play 5 Cyndaquils. Yep, looks like that's a Vulpix, so Dave will be stocked up on Reshirams for the rest of the game. And is that going to be enough, though? You know, the only way he's going to beat Chan at this point is if Chan runs out of steam. You know, his attackers are stronger than Dave's. They have more hit points. He doesn't have to damage his own stuff with Afterburner. All the while, he can knock out all of Dave's stuff in one hit. At the end of the game, you have that Rayquaza Deoxys Legend to take 2 prizes at the end. So, you know, what can you do? Now, we did see Dave get saved here. He played a collector, and then he tried to play an Oak's New Theory. And if he shuffled his hand in, that might have gotten ugly. But instead, he could just Eek. So, thankfully, not a big deal. You know, it could have been a pretty big penalty if he shuffled his hand in and did the Oak's New Theory. Not sure how they would have resolved that, since he could Eek still. But, just glad we didn't have to deal with that. So, we're going to have to actually see Dave Eek, because he didn't have a fire in his hand. And now, what does Chan do? Most Magnezone decks do not play plus power. So even if he had a catcher and catchered out the Reshiram, he couldn't blue flare for 130. He has to wait for Dave to put that 10 damage on it with Afterburner, which is kind of an interesting dynamic in this matchup. You know, even though when they do use Afterburner, it's an easy knockout for Reshiram. When they don't, he gets into an awkward spot. If you catcher it out and then just outrage the Reshiram for 20, then they can play a plus power, blue flare you for 130, and then, well, you just kind of wasted resources for no reason. On the other hand, if you catcher out Reshiram and blue flare it for 120, and then he puts down a double colorless and outrages you for 140, well, that's just as bad. So, how do you go about this? What do you do? So, I'm sure Chan has a plan figured out. I'm sure he's played this matchup before. And now that he has 2 Magnezones in play, we're going to see him pretty much have access to everything in his deck. He's got a bunch of energy on the field. You know, I was going to say those that attachment on Pignite earlier was a waste, because now there's just 2 energy sitting on Emboar, but at the same time, that's just fuel for Lost Burn later. So, any energy you put down in play is never truly a waste because you have Magnezone. And we'll have to see if that flame charge early on and Dave not knocking out that Pignite, he took the risk with Roast Reveal. Is that going to end up costing him the game? You know, it might. At this point, it's what really has set him behind. That one tiny little risk he took. And, you know, I'm struggling to see a way out for him. You know, the longer this goes without Dave doing anything, the better chance Chan has winning. And as you can see, he plays a catcher now. So, what does he take out? He's going to go for Ninetales, which I agree with this. It's the easiest target. It's something you can knock out with Reshiram. Ninetales also, it's kind of the crutch for any deck that runs it. You know, it's that extra draw power you need to get rolling. So now it's just not an option for Dave. He doesn't have Roast Reveal, and it doesn't look like he even has energy. So once again, this is a gross situation. So he's gonna catcher out the Emboar. You know, that's one of the things you want to do when you're playing Typhlosion. You want to target down the Emboar, and we can see communications for Typhlosion. He plays the rare candy in advance. He's so excited. So he's gonna bring out the Emboar, and you know, there's 2 ways he can go about it. He can Flare Destroy, discarding an energy, or he can Blue Flare or Outrage, you know, just setting it up for a later knockout. But the reason you want to bring out Emboar is 1, it's got a 4 retreat cost. 2, it's the heart and soul of their entire deck, because without Emboar they can't keep attaching energy. You know, all their attackers are just are huge. You know, they take so much energy. We can see Dave actually plays a second catcher this turn, which is quite confusing. Not sure what he was doing with that, but he's played 2 catchers in 1 turn. So changed his mind. He wanted the Reshiram instead, and he's going to take the knockout there. So right now Dave is at 4 prizes and Chan is at 5. I know you can't see Dave's prizes, but he's taken 2. And you know, I'm just trying to figure out why he played 2 catchers in 1 turn, but you know, he did it. Maybe he's a little nervous. It is a high pressure situation. Maybe he's thinking before he's acting. It's always important to take your time when you're in these situations. Think out your moves clearly. Don't rush into things, you know. I know it's nerve-wracking, but you have to take your time. You have to realize that you do have time. Everybody has time to make their moves, and it's tough if you just rush into something without thinking about it, because very rarely will somebody let you take it back, and you know, any small mistake can just come back to bite you. So we're gonna see Chan play a collector. He grabbed like Magnemite, Reshiram, and another Tepig. So he's going to be set on basics for the rest of the game. See him put another lightning onto Magnezone. And at this point, you got to be thinking, if you're Dave, ugh, what am I doing? How am I going to win this game? So we see a Lost Burn for 100 on Reshiram. Had 30 damage on it from Afterburner. And I just want to point out I was wrong before. Chan has actually taken 3 prizes at this point. He's down to 3. I think before I said he was down to 5, but he is down to 3. And now we see kind of a crucial turn. Dave's playing a plus power and a Juniper. You know, he's going for a Reshiram and another plus power. If he gets it, he can knock out Magnezone in 1 hit, eliminating a Magnezone from play and 2 energy, but doesn't look like he got it. So he's just going to have to be content with using Flare Destroy this turn. It's going to do 80. There's no real difference between 80 and 70 in this matchup. You know, maybe a fluke knockout from Ninetales or something like that, but having 60 hit points as opposed to 70, not a big deal. So we'll see how Chan responds here. Got another rare candy. See if it's a Magnezone or an Emboar. It's a Magnezone. He's got 3 Magnezones in play. Only 2 energy in the Lost Zone. He's got plenty in the discard, but none really in the Lost Zone, just those 2. And we can also see he's got another Emboar, so it's going to be tough for Dave. He's going to be staring down 3 Magnezones, 2 Emboars. You know, what can he really do at this point? And I think Dave's showing his hand. He's got a bunch of supporters in his hand. So let's see, we got a Junk Arm for Chan. Let's see what he grabs. Looks like a switch, okay. Alright, I see what he's doing. He's gonna switch to Reshiram because he realizes it's risky business to just keep using Lost Burn. You know, you can really run out of energy pretty quickly doing that, which is why a lot of these Magnum Boar versions play Reshiram. You know, when you use Lost Burn, those energy are gone forever. There's no way to get them back. But when you use Blue Flare, you can play cards like Energy Retrieval and Fisherman just to get the basic energy out of your discard. And there you go. So we see another Junk Arm from Chan, another rare candy, another magnetic draw. And you know, if you're Dave and you're looking at Chan's bench, you're just thinking, my lord, what am I supposed to do? 3 Magnezones and 2 Emboars. There's no way I can get around this. I'm just gonna have to fight him head on, and that's not a spot I want to be in, especially down a prize. I just don't know what Dave can do at this point. You know, it's gonna be ugly, no matter what he does. And you know, you might have to think about just scooping him up at this point. His attackers aren't going to be able to keep up with Chan's. You know, the only way he's going to win is if Chan runs out of energy, which he's being careful not to do. We already saw an energy retrieval, and we're going to see the flower shop lady here. And shuffles Reshiram and 3 energy in. I actually don't know if you're allowed to do that. Somebody check this for me, but I think if there's you can't take less than 3 of something if there are that many. I know there's a Cleffa and a Reshiram, and even a Tepig in there. So I think the ruling on that is you have to take 3 if there are 3. But it looks like Chan just took the Reshiram. We'll sweep that under the rug. So we see a Junk Arm. So if I'm not mistaken, he's just played 3 Junk Arms in 1 turn. And I think he got a Retrieval for more energy. Now Chan's down to 2 prizes versus Dave's 4. And see, Dave wanted to retreat, and he took it back, then he retreated, and he's just swapping his Pokemon all around. So you can see what Dave discarded there. He had 2 Junipers, 2 Oaks, some other stuff in his hand. You know, it's just kind of ugly. He's down 2 prizes. You know, if he knocks out something, that Rayquaza DX Legend is lurking around the corner for the final 2 prizes with Ozone Buster. So we'll see what happens here. I think Dave just kind of playing it out at this point. He doesn't want to give up. But when you're in a situation like this, sometimes it's better to just give up because you need the time. I guess in this situation you would want as little time as possible for a game 3, just because Typhlosion is the faster deck. So you'll have the advantage if you don't have very much time. You know, you'll be able to take prizes quickly and take a lead when time is called. So maybe it's better that he's taken all this time and drawn the game out as long as possible. So we're gonna see 2 Afterburners and Flare Destroy on the fire. So Dave's plan here is just gonna be hope my opponent runs out of energy. It's not a bad plan at all. You can see Chan has burned through a lot of Junk Arms and Retrieval and the Flower Shop Lady already. He discarded a bunch with Blue Flare, so there is a chance he could just run out of stuff. And alright, so he puts a Lightning onto Magnezone. It's gonna Magnetic Draw. And let's see what he draws. Alright, he's got a switch, so looks like he plays multiple switches, which is definitely something he altered because of the addition to Catcher in the format. You know, you have all these Pokemon with these high retreat costs. So he plays 2 switches just to get out of that situation where your Emboar gets Catchered up or your Magnezone gets Catchered up and you can't burn the energy to retreat. So he plays, we've seen 2 switches already. And let's see, he dumps 2 energy down on onto his Emboar with Infernal Fandango. And he's gonna Lost Burn for 150 here. So basically it means Chan's just gonna need 1 energy. If Dave Flare Destroys again, he's just gonna need 1 energy to win. That's all it means. He can Lost Burn for 150. If Dave doesn't discard energy here, you know, it just takes a Lost Burn, 150, knockout, and Chan will win this game. So I would assume Chan's gonna take this game. You know, I think we can rewind this all the way back to the Pig Knight situation where Chan had that Pig Knight with 2 energy active and Dave decided to use Roast Reveal and draw 3, hoping to draw the fire energy, and he missed it. He missed his opportunity to knock out that Pig Knight, and you know, that ended up costing him the game, it looks like. You don't know if he would have won if he had taken that knockout. There's no way to know that, but it's definitely a big blow. Definitely set him back and left the door open for Chan to explode, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. So we're gonna see a Junk Arm. I'm not sure what Dave would go for here. You know, he can guess he can Catcher, maybe try to buy some time. One of the things he could do is get a strange win via deck out. If Chan runs out of resources and can't actually move this Emboar, he could win. So that's one way he could go about it. I gotta be honest though, I think Chan's got a Junk Arm left. He's probably got a Fisherman or something to get energy back. And I can't see Dave winning this game anymore. It's pretty much wrapped up at this point. And hopefully we see a good game 3. This is a fairly solid game. You know, Dave did get kind of steamrolled for the most part, but what can you do? It was close until Chan got his monster turn where he got the Emboar, a Magneton, a Rare Candy, a Magnezone, a Twins, and just completely set up and went off. Once Magneboard gets set up, if it can get set up before sacrificing too many prizes, like in this game, he was behind 1 prize when he got his full setup. If that can happen, then this is a fairly easy matchup. Actually, Magneboard is fairly good against anything when it does that. It's just too strong, too much to deal with. And now we see Cleffa wakes up, and Dave uses Eek again. Looks like he could, he doesn't have too many cards left, but Chan's just kind of waiting for Cleffa to wake up, and so he can knock it out. But that's kind of where we're at. Oh, there's a Catcher. And so never mind. And we're going to see a Junk Arm for switch. And yep, Dave scoops up his cards. So We would see a loss burn for 200 there. And we see Dave had 2 Reshirams prize this game, actually, so that could explain the lack of Reshirams at the end of the game. You know, he just ran out of big attackers, basically. He had the Typhlosions out, but he had nowhere to put the energy on. Reshiram is the point of your deck. That's your attacker. You can attack with Typhlosion sometimes, but he's not strong enough to take out a deck like Magnezone on its own. So after that quick game 1, we saw a steamroll game 2 pretty much. Dave's prizes were pretty bad. Chan fully set up. Let's move on to game 3. Hope for a good ending to this series, and we'll be right back.